The movie opens in a post-war world that appears to have been devastated. The scene reveals a terrifying forest littered with corpses, and we are introduced to the main character of the film, Eli, who is trying to hunt an animal for his dinner. Afterward, Eli walks through a barren desert, passing by destroyed vehicles, indicating that the world is no longer as it once was. He then approaches an abandoned house to ensure his safety. Upon opening the door, he finds a man hanging. Whether by murder or suicide, Eli takes the man's shoes, which he seems to like. As night falls, Eli rests in the house, cooking his prey while listening to music and cleaning his weapon. Water is scarce here. Even for bathing, he uses a cloth. His body is covered in wounds. Before sleeping, he takes time to read his Bible, suggesting that Eli is a religious man. The next day, Eli continues his journey and encounters a woman with a trolley who appears confused. However, he suspects that she is just bait, and indeed a group of bandits demand his belongings. Eli refuses and tells them to stop and leave, but they ignore him, and Eli swiftly cuts off one man's hand. He then fights off the entire group alone, showing his strength, but he avoids such killings when possible. Eli resumes his journey and sees two people being robbed by a biker gang. He is torn between wanting to save them and avoiding all trouble to focus on his goal. Ultimately, he decides not to intervene. Eli continues his travels through a world that has suffered massive destruction and arrives in a town where conditions are also dire. He enters a store and is immediately threatened with a weapon by the storekeeper, who has never seen Eli before. Eli explains that he is not part of people the storekeeper is wary of. He then reveals his intention to charge his battery. Later, he learns that the biker gang that killed the two people he saw earlier is in the town. The scene shifts to a man reading a book named Carnegie, who wields power in the area and has a fondness for books. Eli asks the storekeeper if there is water across the street, and the storekeeper confirms but warns that it is expensive. Eli then goes there to buy water, which is a rare and costly commodity. A cat disturbs him, and the storekeeper calls Solara, Carnegie's daughter, to fill Eli's water. One of the biker gang leaders is upset with Eli for pushing his cat and confronts him, but Eli does not respond and even apologizes. A man seems intent on causing trouble, and Eli, unable to avoid confrontation, is forced to fight back, kills the man. Before the fight, Eli speaks a word of God, likely from the Bible he reads, and then engages in an extraordinary battle, defeating all his attackers. The fight only stops when Solara intervenes. Carnegie, hearing of this, summons Eli and inquires about his identity and purpose. Eli expresses his desire to head west, despite Carnegie's insistence that there's nothing out there, and even offers Eli a place in his gang, which Eli declines. Carnegie then asks Eli to stay the night, hoping he'll reconsider. That night, Eli stays over, and Solara, sent by Carnegie to seduce Eli, arrives. Eli refuses her advances, stating he is not that kind of person, but allows Solara to stay as she fears her mother will be punished otherwise. Solara becomes curious about Eli's book, but he refuses to share it with her. That night, Eli teaches Solara the proper way to eat by praying before their meal. Solara realizes that Eli is a good man, different from those she knows. The next day, Solara prays with her mother, using the same words Eli taught her. Carnegie, curious about what Eli taught Solara, forces the information from her mother through torture. Solara reveals that Eli has been reading a book with a cross on its cover, which excites Carnegie as he has been searching for a Bible. Eli, having already left the store where he charged his music player, is confronted by Carnegie and his men as he exits. They demand the Bible, the only remaining copy, which Eli refuses to surrender. Carnegie orders his men to shoot Eli, but they fail to hit him, as if Eli is protected by a divine aura. Eli manages to defeat them all, even injuring Carnegie's leg, which leaves him limping. But again, Redridge, Carnegie's man, who is ready to shoot Eli, seems hesitant to shoot him. Eli then continues his journey, and Solara, following her mother's advice, wishes to join him, believing she will be safer with Eli. Eli initially refuses, but agrees when Solara offers information about Carnegie's secret water source. After collecting water, Eli locks Solara inside, telling her the road is not safe for her. The scene shifts to Carnegie, still ambitious and eager to possess the Bible, ordering his men to pursue Eli westward. Eli senses Carnegie's pursuit. Elsewhere, Solara, having escaped, encounters a woman asking for help. With her innocence, she decides to assist, but it turns out to be a trap. Two men grab her, intending to assault her, but they are swiftly taken down by arrows. Eli arrives just in time to save Solara, and they continue their journey. Meanwhile, Carnegie and his men in pursuit find the location where Eli killed the two men, allowing them to predict his direction. As night falls, Eli and Solara decide to spend the night in an unused chimney stack. Solara, increasingly curious about the Bible, asks Eli to read it to her. She is moved by its contents, finding peace in its words. Eli shares that the Bible was sought to be destroyed after a great war, implying his pure intention to save it. He also explains how he found the Bible, guided by a voice from within, telling him to protect it and take it west, promising protection along his journey. This is why Eli has remained steadfast for 30 years, walking westward, driven by his faith. The next day, hearing that Carnegie is close, they hurriedly leave. They find a house in the desert, and despite suspicions, decide to check it for water. However, they are caught in a trap set by an elderly couple living there. But seeing that Eli and Solara are not bad people, they let them in. Eli and Solara, sensing something amiss, discover the couple are cannibals. They plan to leave, but Carnegie arrives, forcing them back inside. With no chance of escape, Carnegie demands the book and Solara. Eli asks if the couple has weapons, and to their surprise, they have an arsenal. Eli and Solara, determined not to surrender, throw a bomb leading to a fierce shootout. But because Carnegie's forces overpower them, and Eli, overwhelmed, is forced to surrender the Bible. Although reluctant when Carnegie threatens Solara, Eli has no choice but to hand over the Bible. Once Carnegie obtains it, he shoots Eli, who, despite being injured, stands firm in his belief that he will be protected. This moment highlights Eli's unwavering faith and conviction. Despite Carnegie's claims that Eli is just an ordinary man, Eli falls. Carnegie leaves with Solara, taking the Bible. On their journey, Solara ingeniously traps Carnegie's henchmen, causing his vehicle to flip over, creating chaos. She even uses a grenade to destroy the remaining vehicles of Carnegie's gang. Carnegie and one of his men, who is mortally wounded by a sword, accept their fate and die peacefully. Solara escapes in a vehicle, while Carnegie, left without fuel, is forced to return. Solara reaches the location where Eli was shot and, to her surprise, finds that Eli is not there. As she follows the road, she discovers Eli walking ahead. Impressed by his resilience, Solara takes Eli to what she believes is his final destination in the West. Solara asks why he handed over the book, even though he considered it very valuable. Eli reveals that he has memorized the Bible over the years, despite not always living by its teachings, which include doing more for others than for oneself. Elsewhere, Carnegie realizes that the Bible is locked, and he cannot open it. Eli and Solara reach their destination, a broken bridge leading to an island. Carnegie, on the other hand, reaches the town and tells the locksmith to open the Bible. Eli and Solara continue to the island, which turns out to be inhabited and houses a library preserving books that survived the Great War. Eli meets the head librarian and offers the Bible. Carnegie, who successfully opens the Bible, is shocked to see that the Bible contains Braille letters. Eli, who has been walking west for years relying on his faith, asks for a lot of paper to recite the words of God he has memorized. As he grows older, Eli continues to recite the Bible, which the head librarian writes down. Eli completes the task God entrusted to him, and his unwavering faith brings him to his believed destination. Despite the long journey, Eli remains confident in his beliefs. In the end, Eli passes away peacefully, and his memorization of the King James Version of the Bible is preserved in the library. The island is revealed to be Alcatraz, a former maximum security prison. Now more experienced, Solara decides to continue her journey, choosing to wander again, and the movie ends. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, because by subscribing you have supported me to make better videos. See you in the next video.